Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf, BECHOROS Daf Chaf Zayin. We are holding on Chaf Vav Amud Beis, 9 lines from the bottom at the 2 dots. So it's back, referring back to the halacha that we learned in the Mishnah. Interesting halacha that although the bechor, the firstborn kosher animal, is meant to be delivered to a kohen. However, Mishnah instructs the owner, the animal raiser, farmer, to hold on to the newborn for a specific amount of time by a bechor, behemadaka, by a goat and sheep. It's a minimum of 30 days. Prior to giving it to the kohen, the reason being, explains the Rambam, because you meant to give the kohen something honorable, something that are covered, rather than giving him a brand newborn with all its tenderness and needs. You're not meant to have the kohen saddled with tending to this delicate newborn, which he may or may not know how to do. Rather, you're meant to raise it yourself till it achieves some minimal, threshold of development, and then hand it to the kohen. However, says the Mishnah, let's say the kohen offers to take it earlier. Suppose the kohen offers the farmer within this 30-day period, Tneoli, I'll take it from you now. Can you? No. You can't give it to him. Why? My time? Because, in effect, the kohen is now giving the farmer a perk. He's relieving him of his obligation that the Torah mandates. We learned it from a pasuk. And now, it's like he's doing a deal. He's like giving the farmer something in exchange for the bechor. You're not meant to get anything in return for gifts from Matanis Kahuna and Leviah and Aniyim. We'll see in a minute. They're not meant to pay you off. They're not meant to give you anything in exchange. These are meant to be one-way gifts that are covered to Hashem's, legion, right? But in this case, he's getting something in return. He's being relieved of his duty, of his obligation to raise the animal. Amar Sheshes, because it presents like a kohen hamasayeh, who's giving a hand. He's out in the farm, out in the granary, so that he gets, the truma in exchange. Here too, it's like the kohen is giving you something in exchange for the bechor. You're not meant to do that. In fact, let's move on to that halacha. We learn in the Brisa, hakohanim v'alevim v'aniyim. So all these individuals who are entitled to certain gifts, truma, maser sheni, maser rishon, maser oni, hamasayim beis hagrayim. But suppose they come help in the beis harayim, where the animals are being raised. The ray is the shepherd, right? So they come feed the animals. Right, so this is the kohen who wants to get the bechor, and likewise by the Levi, by the Ani, each one in his context. They come help in the granary, where they in order that the kohen does it so that he gets his truma, the Levi that he gets his meiser, and likewise the Ani. This is back to the kohen. He's coming to help in the butcher store. Oh, he's there right and early to help out. Why? He has a hidden agenda because he's going to get the portions, the zraya, l'chayim, that belong to the kohen. So in all these cases, we don't give it to them. Ein noisnin lem truma, u'masa b'schar. You can't give them anything in exchange for their work. They don't belong there. They're meant to get it free of charge. Now, if they proceed in this manner, they have now desecrated these gifts by turning it into some sort of wheel and deal. Right? You've degraded, you've desecrated the bris, the covenant, the entitlements of the Shevet Levi. Right? They serve Hashem, and in exchange we give it to them. They're not meant to serve us. Furthermore, it says it's even more severe than that. It can generate misa chas v'shalom. Avoid death by desecrating. What's the added point of the added pasuk? Perhaps you'll say, okay, it's not the best behavior, but misa, tashma, comes the pasuk and says, yep, it can result in misa. So now let's say the farmer did get some service in exchange for the truma. Initially, the Chachamim were thinking, okay, we'll penalize him and make them redo the truma. Do truma again. So why didn't they require them to do it again? Because it can cause confusion, more harm than good. Why didn't they penalize them to redo it? Because let's say he has this container from which he did the initial truma and gave it to the kohen in exchange for some, help in the farm. Let's say we invalidate it, so to speak, and we require him to do another one. Now, second time around, there's another container of produce which had never yet been tithed, right? Totally tevel, which is chayiv min ha-Torah, versus the first container, which is really min ha-Torah exempt. It's done min ha-Torah. So this is really pater, and the new one is chayiv. And he'll say, well, he won't perceive the difference. He'll say, okay, if I'm obligated on truma on both, let me just do truma on one for both. So do truma from the old container, which is technically pater. He'll take a little extra to accommodate the new one as well, which is chayiv min ha-Torah, and that's called parshanut-torah-comment, and it doesn't work. So in order to avoid any confusion, we did not penalize him to this extent. Ubuchulan, the Brisa continues, although the kohen or the Levi or the ani himself is not meant to offer anything directly to the farmer or to the butcher, but there is some sort of side, benefit that the owner can get from this whole, system. Bukulan yesh behen, it's called tovas hano. We turn to the next amud, tovas hano l'baylam. A little bonus payout the owner can get by way of a third party. So let's say, the neighbor, his name is Mr. Yisrael, says, look, my dear farmer neighbor, my grandson happens to be a kohen, my daughter's son. How about, would you consider giving him the truma from your new crop, £1 million there? I'll give you $10. So yeah, the farmer can accept it. That much he's allowed to do. Keitzad, for example, Yisrael shehifresh truma mikariya. So the Yisrael farmer is about to, give away the truma that he tithed off his granary. Umatza Yisrael acher. So he came off his pile, a big amount of truma, and he meets up with another Yisrael, his neighbor, and he says, Amar loy, take this dollar, and please forward the truma off your kri, off your pile, to my grandson, the kohen. That's okay. So that much benefit he can get, sort of side benefit he can get, but not directly dealing with the kohen. If the kohen offering him, even for his grandson, that's also because again it looks like the kohen is wheeling and dealing. Now, the Tana, who gave us an example of, Teves Hano, specifically cited a case of Truma. What happened to the other, Matanes Kahuna, like Bechor and Zroya? Why did he specify only Truma? Because apparently that system can apply to anything. Pay him off to give the Bechor to his grandson. Amalach, the answer is like this. The Tana will hold, no, only by Truma, which is the Kedushas HaGufi, which is inherently Kaddish. If a Zor eats it, it gets Misa, right? So there's no room for confusion if we allow this bonus payoff. The Kivin Dloy Mischala, since the Truma cannot become redeemed, there's no chilul applicable to actual, Truma. You can't redeem it, you can't transfer the Kedusha onto money. So now, nobody in his mind will think that there was some sort of conversion here through this payout. But people will not get the wrong perception and think, when he paid him the dollar, really was a chilul, and that's why people will not, make this mistake. But hani, as opposed to, b'choy or Zroyal Chaim Bekeva, which are really monetarily kaddish. It's a monetary obligation to give the kohen, and once he gets it, he can, let's say he actually says let's say it's a b'chor balmum, and the kohen shechts in his backyard and he has some meat, he can sell it to the Yisrael, not a problem. It's his to sell. Kivan avalhani, kivan the kedushas damim ninu, and certainly the Israel chayim bekeva eva of any animal has no kedusha. It's just that you're obligated to give it to the kohen, who can turn around and give it back to you and sell it to you. So it's only kedushas damim. It's a monetary type of identity. Asi limita behind. There's room for misconception. if we allow this payout, people might think, since the bar mischalhu, or savar mitchal kedusha sayu, different gersa, so the onlooker will mistakenly perceive it as though it's a chilul. Mischal kedusha sayu, arba zuzi, the kedusha of these items have now been transferred onto the 4 coins, basically, an expression, this money, this payoff. And they'll perceive it to be ordinary material going forward. And they'll treat this meat like regular chulin, and not eat it with, Rashi says, the way you meant to eat the bechor or the zroya, in a royal fashion, roasted, with mustard, in an honorable way, the way the kohen would eat it. So they'll mistakenly believe it to be just plain downgraded meat, and that's what we don't allow. We don't allow, anybody paying you off to facilitate transfer to his grandson. It's limited to truma, where there will be no room for misunderstandings. Amarava. Okay, so now that we concluded that a kohen is not allowed to solicit his gifts, a kohen is not allowed to be misayeh besagronis, give you a hand in the granary, come help you on the farm in order to receive his share. That's limited to truma min ha-Torah, truma in Eretz Yisrael. But interestingly, there was a trumas chutz la'aretz. So outside Eretz Yisrael, the Chacham instituted truma as well, and we have a lot of leniencies applied to that truma. This concept of kohen misayeya doesn't apply. We're going to learn about being batal baroiv. So typically truma needs 100 times as much to be batal. By chutz la'aretz, majority is enough. We're going to learn about even giving it to a kohen who's tamei. So a lot of leniencies, a lot of lenient factors applied to trumas chutz la'aretz. Amar Rabba. First is trumas chutz la'aretz ein ba mishum kohenim asiyeh b'sagronis. Since it's only the Rabbanon, Chacham were not so strict, and the kohen is allowed to solicit his share. In fact, Rav Chama, you have the Shamei. Rav Chama had a helper, a shamus, who was a kohen, and he gave it to him, despite the fact that it pretty much was a tit for tat. He helped him out, and he worked with him, and some learn he actually paid him with it. It was a schar. It was instead of wages, so there was no issue of kohen misayeh. Furthermore, Mashmuel, although typically when truma gets mixed into chulin, you need 100 times as much chulin to be mevatel the truma, to nullify the truma. But chutz la'aretz, all you need is 51% majority. Majority of chulin in the mix, you're good. Amar Shmuel trumas chutz la'aretz, b'teil b'roiv. In fact, Rabbah, who was a kohen, who got truma, mevatel b'roiv. So you would take the truma that he got, mix it into a majority of chulin, va'ichlav metu masay. This way he would eat the whole mix. Even when he was tummy, he would treat it like regular material. Rav Huna B'dar Yeshua, K'misram L'chama the Truma. So he too was a kohen when he got delivered some wine of truma, and it was chutz la'aretz truma. So he would mix it with regular wine and be mevatel it. Havaramit trei natli the chulin. Natli is like a pitcher. So 2 pitchers of chulin, 2 amounts, with 1 amount, equal amount of truma. Mechad natli truma, so it was 1 and 2. And this way it was batal baroy. V'shakol chad, he would pull out a pitcher and he would just treat it like regular material. Become elach going forward. Rami chad v'shakol chad, he would pour in a pitcher of truma and take out another pitcher of material and treat it as chulin, because once the initial truma got bottled into 2, so now we view the whole thing as chulin. So going forward, any amount that you pour in there, just 1 pitcher of truma mixed into 2 sitting there, they're both presumed to be chulin. So 2 gets 1 and it's bottle. In line with the halacha, that trumas chutz la'aretz is batal baroy. Another leniency, v'amar Shmuel trumas chutz la'aretz regarding truma outside Eretz Yisrael oicha v'hoilech. So typically you have to remove the truma before you eat. No, you can eat and just leave a little bit at the end. V'achach mafresh and mafresh at the end. V'amar Shmuel, a 4th kula. Ein trumas chutz la'aretz is asura. El b'misha tuma yotzel migufa. Typically, only a kohen who's tar can eat truma. But a chutz la'aretz, it's allowed for a kohen that's tamei unless he's experiencing a personally generated truma, like a zav, a zava, nida, all these that are personally generated through an emission. So that's a more strict type of tuma. V'ani b'levachila. When is it not allowed for these fellows to eat? Aval b'negil lasnu baba, to touch. So even this type of kohen can touch. There's no isra to be matame truma chutz la'aretz. Amar Ravina Hilkach, says Ravina, therefore, Nida, if a woman is a nida, kaitza challah, so she can separate the dough, offer, the challah offer dough, and give it to a vayichala kain katan who eats it, a minor, a kain who hasn't yet experienced any tumah, any personal tumah, and let him eat it. Vilek a kain katan, if there's no such kain in the area, so she has to burn it. Shakla b'rish masa, she lifts the this piece of dough with the tip of her like a shovel that they use to handle the coal. So basically, rather than touch it directly, there's no purpose. Why touch it directly and make it tamei? Then b'shad b'tanush, she throws it into the oven to burn it up. But listen to this: since ultimately there was no truma given to a kohen, there's a requirement to be mafresh another challah. Right? Since the first challah was burnt, v'hadar, she turns around and again mafresh challah chriti, she separates another little piece of challah, and this time she gives it to a real kohen. So that people outside of Israel shouldn't forget about the concept of challah, that it's meant to be given to a kohen. They'll always see the challah being burnt, so they'll become unmindful of the proper system. So we require another hafrasha, which doesn't really have challah status, in which case you can give it to any kohen, even an adult who's truly tamei, v'achal kohen gadol, and give it to a big kohen, and he'll eat it. Okay, so we have 4 kulas regarding Trumas Chutz La'aretz. There's no issue of Kohen Masayeya, Vital Baroiv, Oichel Vachach Mafresh, and even a Kohen Tamei can eat it. Rav Nachman, Rav Amram, Rav Bar Chama, these 3 great men, Habu Kazli Ba'arba, traveling on a boat. Slik Rav Am Lefniyah, Rav Am left for a minute to attend to his needs. Asoy Tasa, Alas Kamayos, this woman comes over to the remaining 2 Chachamim with a shayla. Normally she tells him like this: Tmei mace. First, the person who became tamei through a mace. Okay, so he needs, ideally, at the time of the Mikdash, we had the paraduma ashes sprayed on him, then he has tefillah, then he has to wait for nightfall. Suppose he didn't have all the different steps done. He only did tefillah. Is that sufficient to give him access to truma of chutz la'aretz? Tmei mace ma'al sheyitbol v'oichel truma as chutz la'aretz. Okay, so what's the status? Can he eat trumas chutz la'aretz? Amar lei. So the question was, there was tefillah, but not yet herav shemesh. Amar lei Rav Nachman. So Rav Nachman turned l'ram b'chama. He says, "Chiyazah yesh lanu." I mean, either way. The proper procedure is not going to be done regardless, because there's no hazah. There's no efer paraduma. So you don't need herav shemesh. That was his initial response. Amalei Ram Bar Chama. So Ram Bar Chama says, let's just wait until the shouldn't we be concerned about the honor of the saba, of the elder, the third Chacham, Rav Amram? Let's wait till he returns to conclude. Okay, so when he came back, Amar Lu, upon hearing the question, Amar Lu, he tells them, Hachim Rav, I'll quote you Rav. Rav told us, Tmei meis, toivel va'oichel, b'trumas chutz la'aretz, Tmei meis will do tefillah, and he can eat the truma even without herav shemesh. So that was his response as well. But the Gemara comes back and says, no, v'leis, hilchas say the halacha l'maisa is not like that. Rather, you need to complete both steps of the tahara, tefillah, and herav shemesh, despite the fact that you can't do the ultimate tahara, which is paraduma, but at least whatever you can do, we do all the way. Another halacha, the Amar, some change it to Amar as a new statement. Amar, so Trum Shmei Rav Sheishes, Tamei Sheret, a fellow touched a dead lizard, he becomes Tamei, he requires Tefillah and Herav Shemesh. Suppose he did one, not the other. Toiva va'oichel b'trumas chutz la'aretz, you can do Tefillah, and then proceed and consume the Truma of chutz la'aretz. It does not require to complete the process with step 2 of Herav Shemesh. However, the Gemara disagrees with less. Hilchas say we don't paskin like that. Rather, he has to do both. He has to do Tefillah and Herav Shemesh. Now, apparently, this whole Gemara is different than, unlike Shmuel, who told us a minute ago that even a regular tamei can eat trumas chutz la'aretz as long as it's not a personal tumah. we're not going with that track right now, working that you have to be tired. The question is to what extent. Do we need Herav Shemesh as well? Some said it's not required. We're not so machmer by Chutz La'aretz, and the Gemara concluded that if you're going to do it, you have to do it all the way. Okay, Bechor Nechal Shana B'Shana. The Mishnah we learned that the Bechor is meant to be consumed within its first year. So before its first birthday. So, the wording, right, Shana B'Shana, can mean both ways. It can mean that you eat it within its first year since birth, or it can also mean in that calendar year. But from the words of the Mishnah, which speaks about a mum that surfaced within its year, indicate that we're talking about its age. Apparently the Lashana Didei Maninan were counting based on his age, not based on the calendar year. Okay, so he's born Lag Ba'omer this year, he has until next Lag Ba'omer to take care of it. Says the matter, we know this whole halacha, Menan Emili. Damar B'Damar Rav, the Amar Kor, the Pasuk says, L'fnei Hashem Kachat Echlenu Shana B'Shana. Pasuk says, Eat the Bechor Shana B'Shana, year by year. What does that mean? So we have a drasha. Ezehi Shana. Find me a type of year which can intersect with another year. Shenichneset b'chaverta. What's that? Havayim Shana Shal Bechor. The year of the Bechor's age, which is not in line with the calendar year, and that year can intersect, can sort of drive into the next year, right? Because it's about the calendar year, so the year is over, Rosh Hashanah. But if it's an age-based time frame, so from this Lag Ba'omer of this year into the next Lag Ba'omer of next year, Shana B'Shana. So apparently we're speaking about age versus calendar years. Dvei Rav Tana, and the Beis Medrash of Rav, they presented from a different brisa that we calculate based on his age, his year. Pasuk says Shana B'Shana. Sorry, in Dvei Rav, they learned this pasuk for a different halacha. It says Shana B'Shana, Idim Shana B'Shana. What does that mean? Idim through 2 years. So we're speaking about the time frame, the Zman Achila of a Bechor. Once you shecht it as a carbon, how long do you have to eat it? 2 days. Which can turn out to be in 2 years, right? 1 day of this year, the last day of this year, and the first day of the next year. So it can stretch into 2 years. So the pasuk here is providing a source for the time frame of the Achila of the Bechor. Yom Echad B'Shana Zu. Yom Echad B'Shana Zu. Shana B'Shana means the last day of this year, first day of the next year, to indicate the length of the Zman Achila. We learn from here. So it's teaching us, the Bechor has an extended consumption time frame, similar to a shlamim, 2 days and a night, 2 days and the night in between. Now, Dvei Rav min Allahu. So according to Dvei Rav, who used the pasuk for the time frame, how did they know the first halach? That the year is calculated based on his age rather than on the calendar, year. Min Allahu. Nothing mikach, and they learn from karbanis. Rashi explains there are other karbanis as well that have to be brought within the first year of their existence, prior to their first birthday. We have keves ben shnasai, right? So we learn from there that in fact it's based on his age. Vikachem gufay minol. How do we know in a regular carbon that it's in fact calculated based on age? Amar Rav Achbar Yaakov Makro keves ben shnasai. His personal year, shnasai shalai, his year, based on his birthday. As opposed to the year based on the counting on the calendar. Okay, for Rav Nechal Lishnayam V'Leilach Minole. So we have two approaches to the sugi of Rav. That the birthday requirement is learned from Shana B'Shana. We have Devei Rav, the brisa that was taught in the Beis Medrash of Rav, who learns it from Keves Ben Shnasai. Now, Devei Rav learned Shana B'Shana to teach us the Achila, the time frame for eating it. And now, what's left is Rav. Rav, how does he know? The 2-day Achila time frame of the Bechor. Rav, Nechel, Shneim Alechem. No, how does he know that halacha? Nafkali learns it from a different pasuk. Me, from Uvisaram Yelecha. So the pasuk is referring to the Bechor. The bas of Bechor will be to you like the Torah equates it to Yelecha Chazei Atnufach Shaykha Yamin. The Chazei, the Shaykh, the portions of the korban that's given to the Kayin. So that's done by a Shlamim. You have a Shlamim, the owner gives those parts to the Kayin. He does Tnufa, he does Truma, right? He waves it up and down, he gives it to the Kayin. And they're eaten for the same exact duration as the Shlamim itself, which is 2 days and a night. The fact that the Pasuk compares the Bechor to these items tells us that just like over there, it's 2 days here as well. Torah is comparing the Bechor to these items of the Shlamim. Just like over there, it's 2 days and a night. Afkan, here as well by the Bechor, you eat it for Shneim Laylechet. Return to the next one. Now the other Shita, it didn't go to this pasuk for a source. You know why? Because it's not conclusive. If only from that pasuk, from the comparison to the Chazav Shaykh, maybe you can argue that we're not talking about the portions of the Shlamim which have an extended consumption period. Even a Toida as well also has this requirement that you take these portions, give it to the Kain. And by a Toida, it's a much shorter time frame. It's just a day and a night. So you can't learn a 2-day period from the Idach. Now, Rav, who did choose to learn from this pasuk, maybe it's talking about a Toida, which has a shorter time frame. Akra. Take a look at the next part of the pasuk. It says L'chayiyah. L'chayiyah is an extra expression in the pasuk to extend Izman Achila B'Bechor. The Torah is giving you an extra extension B'Bechor, and instead of just a day and a night, compared to the Chazav Shaykh of the Shlamim, of the Taidam, it goes further for an extra day. V'idach, the other Shita, why didn't he learn from this pasuk? Imi Hasam, because if only from that pasuk, I can say, this extra expression Yelacha has a different purpose, different application. Limi is coming to teach al Bechor Ba'amum, to tell you that a Bechor, even if it's blemished, it belongs to the Kain, which is something an anomaly, something unusual. We don't look around the whole Torah, we don't find a source that a Bechor which had already a mum is meant to be given to a Kain. An unblemished, okay, what about a blemished Bechor? That's what's learned from L'chayiyah. This too, this brand of Bechor as well is delivered to the Kain. V'idach. Now the other opinion already learned from L'chayiyah for the time frame. How does he know that a Bechor B'almum goes to the Kain? Amar. Ubesaram. Look at the pasuk. It says Ubesaram. Saram is plural. There are two versions of Bechor. Echad tam, echad B'almum. Whether it's a tam or B'almum, both go to the Kain. V'idach. The other opinion didn't want to go to this pasuk because of Saram, although it's plural, it's just an expression. The Hani BECHOROS, the Kul Yisrael Ka'amar. Saram can mean, the regular standard Bechor, unblemished Bechor, from all of them, from all of Yisrael. It's a general reference to the collective, obligation to forward our Bechor into the Kain, but perhaps only this particular version, the Tam. And therefore we need another pasuk to add the Balmum as well. Okay, so bottom line, the Matanis, Kain, Levi, etc. are meant to be given their covered in a gracious, honorable way, without receiving anything in return. You're supporting Hashem's legion, Hashem's team, so to speak. And you're not meant to be Messiah Beis HaGronis. although Teves Hana is allowed by the Truma. Now, regarding Trumas Chutzlars, we have many kulos. There's no issue of Kohen Misayeya, it's Batal Baroiv. You can be mafresh at the end, sort of retroactively, and according to Shmuel, there's no issue of giving it to a Kohen who's Tameh. If it's a regular, type of standard Tumah, as opposed to Tumah Yitzim Gufay. Regarding the Bechor, it's meant to be looked after within its first year. And if it's in fact an unblemished and offered as a carbon, you have 2 days and a night, just as a shlamim. All the best to you, Natzlacha Rav.